Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Fix My Finances series, where we review the real life money situation of an actual person, spot the money leaks, and provide solutions to fix them. Today's episode is about a couple who thought that they were upgrading their lives, bigger space, more comfort. Little did they know that they were also upgrading their stress. They went from feeling secure to being what we call house poor. The question is, was the dream worth it? Without further hesitation, let's get right into it. So once again, if you see me looking down, I'm just reading everything because they filled in this form for me to review their finances. If you want me to review your finances anonymously, link in the description box below for you to fill out your details and submit it. And who knows, I might just pick your situation and make a video about it. And before we proceed, please ensure to leave your comments, your feedback, your advice for them, but try to do it in a non-judgmental manner. Always remember, we're here to do what? Learn, reflect, and grow. Okay, so let's meet the couple. Naomi and Daniel, they are both in their mid-30s, okay? They are married with 2 children, age 5 and age 2. They live just outside of Essex in a new 4-bedroom apartment with a study and a garden. So essentially it's 5 rooms, but it's 4 rooms if you want to count the study separately, and they have a garden. So Naomi works as a product manager. She earns £60,000 a year. Daniel is an IT project coordinator. He earns £52,000 a year. So together, they said their take home is about £6,900 after tax. Now, what is the problem? What is the cocoa of the Mara? The problem here is their previous house was a 3-bedroom semi-detached apartment which they bought some years ago. They said it was their first home. It was small, it was comfortable, it was affordable, and it worked for them at the time. And they were paying just £1,600 a month in mortgage, and they were even overpaying by £400 a month. They were on track to clear their mortgage within 16 years with the overpayments they were making. So it was their starter home, right? It was comfortable, but they said as their family grew, the space became tighter. Now, in their own words, Naomi said, "We were literally tripping over toys in the house. Daniel was working from the dining table and we had no proper space for guests. It started to feel claustrophobic." So they made a big decision. They decided to sell that house. So they sold their old home for 410, took out 62,000 for deposit. This new house that they bought is 620,000 pounds, okay? And that's why 62,000 pounds was 10% deposit. So that's the house that they bought. It's on the outskirts of town. And because it was not their first home, they had to pay stamp duty, land tax, so stamp duty. So basically the stamp duty came up to about 20,750, and then they paid about 3,000 pounds for solicitors and removals. So the amount they spent from their own savings and not from the profit on the sale of the old house was about 23,750, which they paid from their own money. Now, they said the house is lovely. The only problem is that it's a bit on the outskirts of town, and what they just realized that it means that they spend a bit more on petrol cost. So essentially that's the problem. The problem is that they feel house poor. They left their former smaller house to a bigger house, and now it has come with additional cost and financial strain that they did not see coming. So let me know what you think already. Leave your comments below. Without even proceeding right now, do you think it was a good idea to upgrade their house to a much bigger house? I mean, I get it. They said they have 2 children. The space was becoming cramped. But like, what do you think? What would you have done just hearing this at this point so far? This episode of the Fix My Finances series is brought to you by Hostinger Horizons. What if I told you could turn your next product idea into a working business this weekend? Yes, you heard me right, this weekend. Most of us have ideas, but the tech side, I'm talking websites, apps, payments, feels overwhelming, and this is where Hostinger Horizons comes in. So Hostinger Horizons is your all-in-one AI partner that develops, designs, and even writes copy for you. No coding needed. Basically, if you can describe your idea, Hostinger Horizons is going to turn it into a working website or app within a few minutes and a few clicks. Now, how cool is that? So here's how it works. You start by typing in your idea into Hostinger Horizons, and in seconds, it builds a working website or an app draft for you. And after that, you can refine it instantly. You can change the layouts, change the sections, or even rewrite the content all with one click. And then you can publish it instantly. So here's why I think Hostinger Horizons is such a game changer. The very first thing is that it is your all-in-one AI partner. What this means essentially is that no coding is required. To design an app or to build a website. You don't need to know how to code. Hostinga Horizons is going to do all of that for you. The second thing is that it has countless integrations. So you can easily integrate it with other platforms like PayPal, Stripe, Google AdSense, and more. So your project is ready to go from day one. And thirdly, every site is mobile responsive and ready for e-commerce from day one. So you can sell products, take payments, and manage the orders straight away. So basically, what are you waiting for? If you can dream it, Hostinga Horizons can build it. Thank you so much, Hostinga Horizons, for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the rest of the video. Let's break down their income, debt, expenses, all of that. We already spoke about their income, so I won't talk about that again, but let's look at the mortgage. So this new mortgage, they took it for 30 years, okay, and at a 4.5% interest. So the amount they pay back every month now as mortgage repayment is £2,835. Remember, on the former house, the 3-bedroom, they were paying £1,600. Now their mortgage is £2,835, which means they are paying almost double what they were paying before as their mortgage payment. And this is an extra £1,200 that they now have to put towards their house. And this extra £1,200 per month is the difference between like security and stress for them. So now let's look at their expenses. So the mortgage, we already said it, £2,835, council tax £290, utilities, electricity, water £360, groceries £600, childcare, nursery 3 days a week. That's for the 2-year-old. Child goes to nursery 3 days a week. They pay £750, petrol £380, car insurance and maintenance £150, cleaning, they have cleaners that come every 3 weeks. They pay £90, insurance, life and home, and I think health also, I don't know, but insurance anyway, they put £130, entertainment or eating out, they put £250, subscriptions, they put £49, personal allowance, so both of them remit their money into one joint account, and then from that joint account they both have like their own personal spending money. So Daniel's spending money is £150, which is his personal allowance. Naomi as well, her personal allowance is £150, and then money sent home, they also send money home. I'm seeing £200 here. They say miscellaneous 100, so their total monthly outgoings is $6,525, which is very, very high, because remember their income monthly is about $6,009 and they are spending about $6,005 months in, months out. So that just leaves them with about £375 that, you know, is unaccounted for. But that's not good, because if anything happens, they don't even have money to cover that cost. Now, let's talk about what they are feeling, because when Naomi filled out this form, there was a lot of things she wrote on the part where I said, is there any other thing you would like me to know? She literally wrote out a lot, okay? She said that we were used to having breathing space. Now everything is just tight. It's not like we're being extravagant. The house just cost us so much more to run. I actually got on a call with them because I found this really interesting. Daniel said that it's not that they regret it, okay? He said that they love the house, but it feels like all their money keeps going to the house. They cannot save like they used to save. So one thing to state here is that apart from their mortgage being higher, something that they didn't factor in was council tax, okay? Their council tax, I think, is about £280, because the bigger your house, the bigger the council tax, okay? Also, depending on what band your house is in, theirs is in an expensive area. The band of their council tax is quite high, so they did not factor in that council tax as well was going to go high. And also another thing they didn't factor in is that their monthly cost is going to increase. Before the cleaning, she said their cleaning in the previous house was not £90, but because this house is bigger, cleaning has also gone up again. What else again? Petrol, they spend a bit more now on petrol than they used to. So basically them moving to this bigger house has come with added small costs that they did not think about. And then another thing to note from their conversation is that there's also like this subtle emotional pressure, because now they have this big house. They feel like they have to keep up certain appearances, you know, to match the house. They have to make their lifestyle match the house that they are living in. So literally they are not in a good place with this purchase that they've made. In her comment, she said, we wanted this home to feel like a blessing, but right now it is a burden, okay? I mean, just imagine going from £1,600 a month for mortgage to now paying £2,800. That's £1,200 more. That's enough money to pay someone's rent somewhere in the UK. Essentially, what I can see here is that it's a classic case of equity release and lifestyle inflation that is quietly eroding their sense of financial security. So their first home was smaller given, but it was actually efficient. It seemed like it was a better decision for them financially. Now this new home is giving them more space, but it's giving them less space for financial flexibility. They literally do not have enough runway to do a lot with their money anymore. So they are technically house poor because cash flow right now is tight. Now, so how can they fix it? Literally, when I was reading through, you know, their finances and everything, I'm like, there's nothing I can say you should do, you know, Daniel and Naomi. There's really nothing, because I can't tell you to sell the house. The only way to really fix this and free up that £1,200 back is to sell the home and downgrade, but I don't think you want to do that, right? So what I'll just suggest here are just things I think, you know, you can reduce here and there, and hopefully to make an impact, right? The very first thing that I'll say is sending money home. I'm sorry that I'm attacking that first. I mean, £200 a month, and you guys are saying you're struggling, you're feeling very tight and choked up financially. Maybe you want to reduce that amount. Also, I understand that for some people, costs like that are non-negotiable, right? It could be the fuel that is keeping some people running back home in Nigeria. I get that, but maybe consider that, okay? Another thing is to review all your recurring costs. For example, renegotiate your utilities. Sometimes when you try to switch utility provider, they can give you a small discount. Cancel all unnecessary subscriptions. When I say that, the money that releases is not the money that's gonna make you rich, but right now that you're feeling tight, maybe is worth considering that, okay? But if you're not using a subscription, please cancel it. Also, your insurance that you're paying, go back to your insurance provider, tell them you want to leave, or that you compare the market. Most times when you try to, or you threaten to leave, your insurance provider would like to give you a better deal with lower premiums, okay? Another thing I want to say here is you need to accept that it's okay to pause. I mean, from my conversations with you guys, you said that you've been decorating the place as well because you feel like the house needs to look good. My dear, you need to pause on that. It's okay to pause. The house does not need to feel complete. You can decorate as you go. You're not in a competition to decorate your house within a certain time frame. It's your house, so you can take as much time as you want to decorate it. So like, let's just hold off on decorating the house, because that's just extra cost that you're incurring. Another thing is maybe to look at your lifestyle. You know, you might want to consider reducing your personal allowance amount. I don't know. You guys, let me know. Put it in the comments. Like, are you agreeing with what I'm saying? Like, leave your advice for them. But this is what I'm thinking. You might want to cut down on your personal allowance amount. Maybe both of you will take £100 each instead of £150 each. That way you're saving £100 from that, and you can put that towards your savings, okay? And then the last thing I'll say is like just planning for the long term. Your child that is currently, you know, taking up £750 a month for their nursery, at some point they will be done with nursery, and so that money will still be freed up eventually, and then you can use that money for something else. But that's not an immediate fix. Like I said, that's further down the line. So the last thing that Daniel and Naomi can consider is to increase their income, because there's no limit to just how much you can earn, but there's a limit to the number of things you can cut down. So maybe consider going for a promotion or seeking a pay rise. If that's not possible, how about switching jobs, because you're more likely to get a substantial increase when you switch jobs. And if that's not possible, how about a side hustle? Are there things in your house that you can sell on Vinted, on Etsy to make money? Are there cashback apps you can use like Jam Donut to, you know, make money on the side? Do you have any skill you can monetize? Maybe making hair, maybe video editing. Point is, if you can't increase your income through your job, which is like seeking a raise or like going for a different job, then consider what side hustle you can start in order to bring in more money. One of the reasons why I decided to share these finances here is just so that we can all see how like the pursuit of more, wanting to get more and more, can actually put us in a very like bad financial situation. All they wanted was just a bigger house, but then now they are feeling very tight financially. Yeah, there's not so much I can see in the fixes, to be honest. Like they said as well, they are not being extravagant, and honestly they are not. The biggest expenses here is mortgage, and then it is childcare. Those are the two biggest expenses. Groceries 600 is not bad. I can't see eating out here. Okay, eating out and entertainment 250. Maybe you can break that down to 150 and you can have £100 saved there as well. But point is, there's not a lot that can be done at this point. So the main lesson here for myself as well when I saw this, and for you guys watching this, is like, what is the cost for the pursuit of more? You know how as humans we are almost never satisfied. You achieve one thing and then you're trying to go for the next big thing, okay? You hit one milestone, you start chasing the next. You get a job, then you want a better one. You buy a house, then you want a bigger one. We call it ambition, but sometimes it could be like a quiet form of dissatisfaction, you know, not being content with what you have. It could fall into that as well. Because here's the truth, Naomi and Daniel, they did not make like a reckless decision, okay? They just believed that bigger would mean better for them. They did not consider all the added costs or all the other inconveniences that will come as a result of upgrading their house. So what do you think? Leave it down in the comments below. Was buying this new house a big mistake? Do you think they could have done something differently? Is there any way you can see that they can probably, you know, relieve themselves of the financial pressure that they are feeling at the moment? Put your thoughts down in the comments below. Till next time, guys, thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.